What is the truth about the state of your marriage? Hey there, I'm Sharon Pope. I help women who are struggling in disconnected marriages figure out whether they can stay and make their marriage work, or if the only answer is to lovingly release it. If you like what you hear on this channel, I hope you'll subscribe. So today we're talking about what is the truth around the state of your marriage. And whenever we start talking about truth, which is one of my favorite topics, we have to begin with ourselves. And oftentimes we are not fully honest with ourselves about how we feel about the state of our marriage because we almost don't want to say the words. The implications are so big and so scary that we shy away from facing what is in fact the truth about our marriage. So for instance, we'll say things like, well, my heart's just not in it anymore. Or I'm unhappy, right? But when we say that, even to ourselves, there's no action plan associated with that. So how am I going to get my heart back into it? Or figure out that my heart can never be into it? How am I going to get happy? What am I going to do to change that? Or am I just going to live my life just never being happy and blaming my husband for it, right? So we've got to get more granular, more detailed, and way, way, way more honest with ourselves about where we're at and how we're feeling. And from that place, once you know where you are, then you can figure out where you're going. Then you can put together the plan of, okay, I'm going to do these things in order to feel happier and not just use my husband or my spouse as an excuse to blame, right? So first thing is be honest with yourself. We talk around this stuff, particularly when our marriages are really struggling. We talk around it a lot. I host a Facebook group, and one of the ladies, I asked her to finish and complete this sentence, which was, my current truth about my marriage is ... And she flat out said, I am not ready to say that. I'm not ready to answer that question. So I don't know if she was even ready to answer it for herself about where am I at, because that can be really, really scary. The second thing is, we don't talk with our spouse about it either. We don't if we can't tell ourselves the truth, we most certainly are not telling other people the truth, particularly our spouse. We might talk with others, but that's a whole different thing. And I'm going to come back to that because it's actually important. So if we're not telling ourselves the truth, we're definitely not telling our spouse the truth. And I think they deserve to know what's going on and where you're at and how you're feeling. So the truth part has to begin with ourselves. We have to be able to say that to ourselves. And then we have to be able to get granular. And then from that point, then we're able to share it with our spouse. Because when we say things to our spouse like, I'm unhappy, that doesn't give our partner any kind of marching orders or even a direction. It just means I'm unhappy. A lot of times what they'll do is because they hear those words, I'm unhappy, they don't know what to do with it. And a confused mind always does nothing. So they might just think, oh, well, she's going through something. Maybe it's a midlife crisis. That's one of my favorites. Or maybe it's menopause or whatever. Like they might explain it away. So we've got to be way, way, way more specific. The truth about how I feel today about my marriage is what? Be able to fill in that blank and then be able to have that conversation with your spouse. It's all the things that we don't talk about, that we avoid talking about, which are the very things we need to be talking about in our relationships. And now I want to come back real quick before I close it up to this idea of, oh, I'll be truthful with my girlfriends or with my best friend. So I get why we do that. We are rounding up support for ourselves, and who better to go to than our friends who know how to just love us up, right? And give us that support that we so desperately need. And in that place, we might be even more truthful than we would be in a quiet moment with ourselves and maybe a journal. But when we do that, when we share the details about our marriage that we won't share with our spouse, what we're doing is we are bringing someone else into the center of our relationship. If this is your marriage, there's you and there's him, and this is the marriage itself. You bring your best friend right into the middle of that, your mother, your sister, right into the middle of that. They don't belong there. And it probably feels a little awkward for them because they know they don't belong there. So in the spirit of being honest with ourselves and being truthful, we've got to begin learning to be more truthful with ourselves and with our partners, because nothing's going to change when we just take it outside of ourselves or we never really tell the truth, right? So, finish and complete this sentence. The current truth about my marriage is, at least to yourself. Answer it for yourself first. Then we have some place to go. If this was helpful for you, I hope you'll give this video a like. If you like what you hear on this channel, I hope you'll subscribe. If you want to know whenever there is a new video that's posted, just click the red button or the red bell in the upper right corner. Take good care.